if you have cancer, heart disease, MS, fibromyalgia, autoimmune, arthritis, Lyme disease, any chronic condition, illness you have, do yourself a favor and right this moment, stop consuming any sugar. In this video, I want to share with you why I believe sugar is the #1 reason why most of us today are suffering with chronic illness. My name's Thomas Garbarino. Thank you for tuning into the channel. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you tap that bell so you get the weekly videos right into your inbox. And go ahead and comment below because I read all the comments and I will respond to you. This channel is devoted towards holistic healing in all its forms. We want you to have the easiest route on your healing journey, so get your life back. So last week in my group healing mentorship at Be Love Heal, I was sharing with the participants how massive sugar is on our chronic illness journey and what are all the factors, the things that sugar does to us that can cause us to stay sick or even worsen in our sickness. So let's get into this. So what I shared was the big 3 up, the big 3 down. So first one, when we consume sugar in any form, folks, insulin, boom, spikes. 2, triglycerides spike. 3, adrenaline spikes. And then what happens as those things go up? Simultaneously, we have our mood goes down. Our immunity goes down. Our metabolism goes down. So let's break those all down. So first, yes, whenever you eat any kind of sugar, whether it's a cookie or a mango, first thing that does, sugar is the most easiest thing to absorb in our body. Just by putting a bite into your mouth, 30% of the sugar is already absorbed into the body with no resistance. And then eventually, by the time it gets to your duodenum in your small intestine, almost all of it has already been completely absorbed into the bloodstream. Fast, really fast, okay? And what that does is the body goes into a real intense fight or flight state, because if the amount of sugar that stays within the blood too long, you can die. Yes, you can die of what's called a diabetic coma. It all goes up to your brain and the body goes, enough. So thankfully, in our body's intelligence, we know that as that spike of sugar is happening in the blood, the body will start to counter that by producing insulin, which is in your pancreas. And so the insulin, what it does is it grabs all that sugar and it processes it. And the way it processes it, it takes that sugar, which is again very easy to digest, easy to absorb into the body, and then it converts that sugar into a fat. And that fat is what is known as a triglyceride. Now, the problem with that is, as some of you know, with cholesterol, things, when the triglycerides are very high, what happens is all the muscles and the arteries in the body and the blood vessels, they start to thicken because they start to swell up. With the body, needs to put those triglycerides somewhere. So it chucks it, on the walls of your arteries, into the muscle tissues, right? And over time, you become more prone to have heart disease. You become more prone to have high cholesterol. You're more prone to have edema and many, many other things. But here's the big problem. Once all those triglycerides are converted and stored somewhere in the body, the next time you eat a cookie or something that's going to spike your insulin up again, that triglyceride kind of greases the receptor sites in the cell where the insulin normally could convert, right, in those receptor sites in the cells. But now those receptor sites are all gummed up, and guess what happens? The insulin can't do its work. So instead what happens is you start to become insulin resistant, or type 2 diabetic, right? Insulin resistance. And this is a cascading effect for so many other issues that happen at hand, right? And so what that does is it puts the whole body in this fight or flight response. It just surges the adrenaline through your system. And now adrenaline is good for certain things, chasing tigers, right? Getting to deadlines, but it's not so good to have that surging through your body all day. And this just over time depletes the fluids of the body, puts a lot of stress on the endocrine system, and as I mentioned before, lowers the metabolism of your body, so it's harder to lose weight, it's harder to function, your digestion working at a good, healthy rate. It also will, just as a result of that, like your mood, your outlook, you feel more depressed, you feel more anxious. It's harder to feel happier in your day. And then the last downer was, as I mentioned, is your immunity. It weakens your body's ability to fight off other infections and potential other things that your body needs that strength from its white blood cells. Speaking of infections, guess what sugar does? It loves to feed, like bacterial infections, fungal infections. Those of you who had any kind of toe fungus or any fungus, you know the moment you eat sugar, it just instantly causes the fungus to get worse. Same thing with bacteria. So anything, like I mentioned, you could arguably trace back to some infection. So I think it's kind of common sense, that, if we're trying to eliminate an infection that's causing our immune system, causing our mood, causing our metabolism, and maybe causing our inflammation to kick up, the obvious thing to do is let's cut the supply chain so no more sugar will feed these infections. But I get it, it's not that simple. We have a whole attachment to food and the way it makes us feel and the way it causes us to co-regulate and cope with our emotions when we don't feel so good, or it's late at night and you want to get that snack before you go to bed. All of those things are at play, right? So the hard thing is sugar is in so many things, right? So sugar is in so many processed foods. And this is why wherever you go to shop, and if you're really serious about this and wanting to get over your condition, you have to read the labels. You have to start reading labels and seeing how much sugar is slipped into the most quote unquote healthiest foods out there. So do your homework and check out before you buy whatever it is that you love. Make sure you check the labels that there's no sugar, because we don't want to add any more unneeded stress, inflammation into your system. Now, some people might be saying, you know what? I just read that our body needs sugar. Yes, this is true. Our body does need sugar. However, it doesn't need it in these very simple, easily absorbable ways. It's a lot like life in some ways. Like, we need to let our body work, show that it's worth it. And so it has to put in some work to get the benefit of that sugar. So meaning that it is the form and the rate that we should be concerned about. The form meaning that we don't want it simple, easy carbohydrates. We want complex carbohydrates in the form of a squash or in the form of whole grains, right? Not just simple, easy sugars like high fructose corn syrup, right? Or cane sugar, all these simple ways that is going to cause that form to be easily digestible. We need it to work a little bit. We need it to struggle, break things down, and that is good for your body. The second thing is the rate. It has to come in slowly. So it takes a lot longer to break apart a piece of broccoli than it does a muffin, right? Maybe for some of you, maybe not. But my point is, it causes the body and the digestive system to work to get those sugars, and we need that. I've had many videos in the past where I've talked about this. My theory about micro stressors. We need to micro stress our body each and every day. And the best way to do that is with foods that are complex, that are gonna make our body and our digestive system work hard for those sugars, okay? So don't give any easy route to your body. Make it harder. And what you'll find for some of you that maybe have been addicted to those simple sugars, you'll start finding that actually broccoli or rice or even cabbage tastes sweet again, okay? Check me on that, prove me wrong, if you don't think I'm right. All right, so the last thing I just want to say is this whole process, I know through this video, hopefully you're getting some value, you're feeling inspired, but I also get it's hard road to hoe sometimes because there's a lot of factors, as I mentioned. We have a lot of attachments, emotions, desires, and we also have a lot of just bad habits that we've acquired. So this is why I offer my group healing mentorship, Be Love Heal, because in this program I teach you truly how whole foods can heal your body. Whole foods without any supplements, and the price of your healing journey by eating just simple whole foods is very inexpensive. On top of that, what I also teach you is how to regulate your central nervous system. So your nervous system that could be in states of fight or flight throughout the day, how to regulate that so you can come to more of a centered, calm, secure place within yourself to take the appropriate actions, to feel more confident, to be just who you're meant to be. And that's why we call it Be Love Heal. We do this with Qigong movements and meditation that I teach, and I have been teaching for 20 years now. So if it's something that you think you would like to get more guidance on, I recommend checking the links below and seeing if Be Love Heal, the group healing mentorship, is something for you. Otherwise, I recommend checking out some of my other videos here. I love putting out free content to all those people. I want to make sure those of you, listen folks, I've been there. I've been on the healing journey myself and have been many days just very ill, and I know what it's like being there. So hopefully this will inspire you and motivate you in a way that will uplift you in your day in this moment right now. Take care, everyone. I wish you all the best.